Hello, my friend. I have a question for you. Is the roommate phase a normal thing in a marriage? I mean, two people living together profess their dying love for each other, and all of a sudden now they're living in different quarters of the house. One is sleeping in the guest room and the other in the master bedroom. You just tolerating each other in marriage. You just deal with things like the kids and all of that stuff. I mean, I consider that to be ungodly in all fairness. And I know some of you guys are saying, well, living like roommate is okay. It's better than fighting. No, it's not. Fighting is not good either. I mean, you share the house, you pay the bills, you do things with the kids, but there is no real connection between the two of you all. I need you to hear me today that is not how God designed your marriage to be. And if you stay with me, I'm going to tell you and show you why you need to stop this madness, get back into the rhythm of things, because let me tell you something, the roommate phase, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, it will mess you up. So let's have this conversation. So welcome back to the show. I am Doran, and this is Not Easily Broken. Now, what is the roommate phase, or what is the roommate mentality? Well, my brothers and sisters, the roommate mentality is that you're living like brothers and sisters under one roof. A matter of fact, sometimes brothers and sisters are living better than you. You see, some people say, at least we are not fighting. No, that's a trap. That is not good enough. The Bible tells us in Genesis chapter 2, verse 23 and 24, it tells us that when Adam saw Eve for the first time, Adam said to Eve, "This is now bone of my bone. You are flesh of my flesh. I will call you woman because you came out of me." And then in verse 24, it said, "Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife," or joined to his wife, "and the two shall become one flesh." The two becoming one. God's design was for two people to become one in the marriage, for two people to love and honor each other, for two people to become so connected that you cannot tell the separation between them when it comes to the chemistry, when it comes to the synergy, when it comes to the respect, the honor, the intimacy, the empathy, the togetherness. All these things, my friend, is a part of what really makes a marriage beautiful. And if you're in the roommate phase, it's because you are not doing these things. Marriage is not designed for mere coexistence. It was designed for a covenant partnership. You are in a covenantal relationship, and covenant requires sacrifice. It requires faithfulness. It requires showing up. It requires honesty. It requires fidelity. It requires trustworthiness. And I want to share with you 5 signs you are in the roommate phase. Sign number 1, emotional disconnection. You see, my friend, you are not having meaningful conversation anymore. There is no sexual connection. There is no laughter together. There is no crying together. There is no praying together. You are going along to get along mentality. And the psychological effect is not good because you become emotionally numb to the reality of what's happening. And loneliness inside of the marriage is not good. There's quiet resentment that has built up over time. And my friend, researchers have proven this, that emotional withdrawal, and it is one of the leading predictor of marriage breakdown. So you need to cut it out. Sign number 2 that you're in a roommate phase, you share a house, but not a life. I can never really understand this. You handle all the logistics. You pay the bills. You schedule things. You go to the grocery store. You deal with the kids. You ask questions about who's going to pay the bill, who's going to pay the mortgage, who's going to do all of that stuff. But you are not building anything together. No shared vision, no dreams, no goals, nothing. You see, my friend, in a healthy partnership, you are each other's best friend. You are learning from each other. You like each other company. You talk together. You lean on each other. You trust each other with your heart. What's going on in marriages today? That you can be present and you're not even there. You can be there and you're not in the moment. Sign number 3 that you're in the roommate phase in your marriage. You coexist, but you don't turn towards each other. You see, coexistence means that you tolerate each other. You don't initiate. You don't pursue each other. You don't reach for your spouse. You know, the Bible tells us in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9 and 10, that it says that 2 are better than 1 because you have a better return on your labor. 2 are better than 1, but only when they actually show up for each other. It happens when you turn, my friend, towards each other. Do you know that you can only find love where you give? You can only find love where you serve? Yes. You doesn't find love in the crazy area of your life. Or where you resent each other, you turn away from each other, you're fighting all the time. No, that's not where you find love. You find love where you serve. You find love where you give. You find love when you are intentional. Because my friend, I got to tell you, turning towards each other daily is an intentional decision. It's not a feeling that you wait on. Because if you're waiting on that feelings to come, it may never come. Sign number 4 that you are in the roommate phase, no partnership, no investment. Oh, yes. I mean, no investment at all. Partnership means that you are interested in each other. The dreams, the goals, the vision, the aspiration. Yes, you help each other become who God called you to be. Your partnership. You are vets. You are investing in each other. You see, God called you to become one. God called you to be like him. And when you stop investing, your marriage begins to depreciate. Anything that you don't add value to, it depreciates. Just like anything you neglect. Your car, the garden, the house, your job, your health. Hello, talk to me. Sign number 5. Your marriage is in survival mode. That's when you know that you're in the roommate phase. Your marriage is in survival mode. You're not enjoying your marriage. You are just trying to get through it. No. You're enduring your spouse instead of embracing them. You know, in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 7, it tells us that love bears all things. Love endures all things. But my friend, true love does more than endure. True love pursues. And if you are only surviving, it is time for you to make a move. Move toward each other. Listen towards each other. Forgive each other. I want to talk a little bit about the psychological or the emotional aspect of the roommate phase. You see, my friend, it prolongs emotional disconnection. It creates anxiety and depression and deep loneliness. It erodes self-worth. Both spouses begin to feel unseen, unheard, unwanted, unvalued. And over time, that indifference replaces conflicts. And my friend, guess what happened? That indifference is more dangerous than fighting, because fighting means sometimes you care. Fighting means that, oh, listen, we got to fix this. The children in the home absorb this dynamic. They learn that what marriage looks like is not good because they're watching the two of y'all acting like children. This is not just a relational issue. It is a spiritual issue. And when a marriage is dry, when it is frizzing away, when it is freckled and it is breaking, it affects your prayer life. It affects the peace in the home. It messed up your purpose. There's no rhythm. But here is the good news. This is not where your story has to end. No, it's not. And I want you to listen to me. If you're in a season of your marriage where you are struggling and you want a stronger, healthier relationship, you want to connect more, you want to build a closer bond, We have a system in our coaching program that is called the GRACE framework. And what I'm teaching you right now, it falls under two categories, the C and the E in GRACE. Connect deeply, emotionally, relationally, intimately, spiritually, sexually, and relationally. And it falls under the E. Educate and equip yourself. You need to learn how to build greater sexual connection, sexual intimacy. We cover all of these things in our coaching program. And if you'd like to be a part of the program, I want you to click the link in the description and sign up. There's a few slots that we have open up right now, and you need to try. You need to get in there. You have 30-day money back guarantee, but I would recommend that you sign up now. So I want to talk to you about how to break out of the roommate phase and reset your marriage. Can we talk about marriage reset? Yes. And as I mentioned, even in that endorsement or advertisement about the coaching program, we're going to anchor this under the C in the GRACE framework and the E, educate and equip themselves. Because here's the thing, where we use grace is based on where you are. So there's two pillars specifically speaking exactly where you are right now. And that is the C, connect deeply. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 23. You have to turn towards each other, not away. You need to pursue your spouse again. Pursue them like when you were dating. Pay attention. Pray together. Sleep together like in the same bed. Oh yeah. Just sneak up on them and just hold them. Make love. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Cry together. Laugh together. Be present and in the moment together. Emotional safety is not an accident, my friend. It is through consistent, intentional turning towards each other. Be each other best friend again. Be boyfriend and girlfriend again. Touchy and feely. Go ahead, do it. See how it feels. See how it turns. Laugh together. And the E is to educate and equip yourself for a successful marriage. You see, my friend, a marriage reset requires new tools and new thinking, a new mindset, new attitude. You learn how to love each other in the language and in a way that your spouse actually receive it. Go on dates again. I talked about it earlier. Compliment each other. Ooh, yes. When is the last time you look at your wife and you say, ooh, baby, look at you. Oh, look at your butt. Let me calm down a little bit. Look at those hips. My God, I love you. You're amazing. You look at that man and you say, boy, I love to rock your world. You are such a good man. You're such a great husband, great father, great provider. And hear me, this is important. Apologize where you have been wrong. And this is key. Seek help. Seek counsel. Seek a coach. Seek a mentor. Get in our coaching program. Yes, marriage makeover coaching is where you really see it all comes together. You don't have to fight this alone. Can I give you some practical steps? Right? I want to give you at least 3 or 4. Number 1, you have to be intentional with your conversation with your spouse. Be intentional with your conversation this week. No phones, no kids, no distraction, just the two of you. Sit down, talk. Have meaningful conversation like you really like each other. I cannot believe how some people just think that their marriage is just going to automatically work just because they show up. No, you have got to show up and do something. Write down one thing that you appreciate about your spouse and tell them about it loud and clear. Out loud. Say it. Read it. And you can pray together. I know for some of y'all, it will feel awkward because you don't do it. It's strange. And I'm going to say this, that some of you guys can do better. Your marriage is falling apart because you stop serving. I promise you, my friend, if you serve each other, you will find love. If you serve each other, you will find love again, because you don't find love where you get. You find love where you give. You find love where you serve. And that's the blueprint. That is the key to the rhythm of love, my friend. So that's it, my friend. Thank you so much. I hope this was a blessing to you, because the roommate phase is dangerous. All kind of thoughts are coming on in your mind. Some of you guys are now having virtual affair because of it. Some of you guys are having physical affair. And they're both adultery. It's a sin. So I want to instruct you, and I want to impress upon you that change is necessary. Change is needed. And you need to really understand what God is trying to do and what God is trying to say to you today through me. I'm praying for you, and I'm praying for your marriage. And may the Lord bless you. Thank you for watching. And if you are blessed by this, I want you to check out this other video that's going to bless you. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Be blessed now. Bye-bye.